Okay, so hello and welcome everyone to this panel on the focus country Ukraine. It's so good to have you here physically and virtually for this hybrid conference. My name is Regina Fisch. I work for the Austrian Music Export and the Music Information Center Austria. And today we are lucky enough to have various professionals on this panel that will shine a light on the Ukrainian music scene and paint a picture of its musical landscape. So upon visiting Ukraine, I have to say that it has one of the most immersive and lively music scenes, and I'm very excited that it gets the attention it deserves today. And we're going to start off with some greeting words from Alona and Irina from the Ukrainian Music Export and the Ukrainian Institute. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Regina. I suggest Irina to start the greeting words, so please, here you go.
Hello everyone, greetings from Kiev, Ukraine. My name is Irina Prokofyeva. I'm head of programs at the Ukrainian Institute, state institution which builds cultural connections between Ukraine and the world. And we are very happy to organize participation of Ukrainian musicians and experts in partnership with Music Expert Ukraine. Last year, in 2019, we were lucky enough to bring our first big Ukrainian delegation to Vienna. And at that moment, during one of the concerts, I had a thought in my mind. It would be super great to have Ukraine as a focus country next year. Some colleagues said to me that maybe I'm too ambitious and it's too early for us to have Ukraine as a focus country at Vienna, but I'm very happy that this small dream became true, and now we are delighted to represent our Ukrainian music scene to all you guys, and we hope that you will get in touch with a lot of Ukrainian musicians and specialists, and you will be able to get to know more about Ukrainian music scene, which is very dynamic and has been very dynamic over the last few years. And now I will pass the word to Alona, our colleague and partner in crime.
Thank you very much, Irina. So my name is Alona Dmuchovska from Music Expert Ukraine, and we are super excited to have Ukraine as the focus country at Vienna. As Irina said, it was a dream come true because Ukraine is the country of opportunities, freedom, and tons of great talents. That's why we really believe that culture doesn't finish and doesn't stop with the borders closed. And that's why we're super excited to have the digital opportunity to present our talents. So today, you will have an opportunity to listen to some great music, and tomorrow as well. And we really hope that during this panel, you will get some feeling from the Ukrainian music market. And I really hope that pretty soon we will meet somewhere in Vienna, or possibly we'll host you in Kiev. So enjoy this time, and looking forward to the meeting you together. And at the moment, I would like to invite Alex on the stage, who will give you a brief overview. What is musical Ukraine? Enjoy.
Thank you, Alona. Nice to meet you, everyone. I guess I need to look in the camera. So, my name is Alex Bondarenko. I'm founder, I'm musical journalist, musical critic, writing about mostly Ukrainian music. So, can you please switch on the presentation? I will tell you about Ukraine. This is our flag, this is our name. So, next slide, please. Ukraine is quite huge. It's the biggest country in Europe, excluding Russia, of course. We've got more than 40 million people all around Ukraine. We also got one of the top 10 fastest growing markets, streaming markets in the world. We've got Netflix here, we got Spotify already since this year here. We also got Apple Music, Google Play Music, YouTube Music, all stuff like that. So everything is getting higher, getting bigger. We do not have a lot of streaming users right now, not much as in America or Europe, but enough. And also we've got extremely strong folk traditions in this country. Almost everyone can sing. That's why we got a lot of bands combining folk music, electronic music, pop music, rock music, and stuff like that. Next slide, please. So, Lirum, it's my media. Next slide. We were founded in 2012. It was kind of fun blog project for me and my friend from a university. And in 8 years, we become one of the biggest media in Ukraine. So we write mostly about Ukrainian music, but sometimes we go on conferences, we go on other festivals and tell about our country and tell about our musicians. Next slide, please. Yeah, I already told that. Next slide. We've got 4 biggest media in Ukraine right now. There were much more before, but now the music journalists all around the world have some kind of crisis, in Ukraine also. But still, we have 4 really big media. The first one is Sluch. It is founded by concert agency Concert UA. It's the biggest right now. It's writing mostly about Ukrainian music, also world music, also music from Central and Eastern Europe, and stuff like that. Lirum, I already told about it. It's Neformat.com.ua. It's the biggest media writing about underground music, alternative music, metal music, and stuff like that. And also Notatki.com.ua. It's kind of database of Ukrainian music. They write about almost every release released in Ukraine and try to store it in one place. Next slide, please. So, we've got a lot of Ukrainian musicians known worldwide, but it's kind of tricky situation because we do not have a lot of pop stars known worldwide. We've got some underground musicians, folk musicians, stuff like that. I will tell you about it right now. Please, next slide. Dacha Bracha, I guess it's the most known band from Ukraine all around the world. First of all, because of their appearance. You can recognize them from everywhere. Secondly, they're writing really unique music. They're combining folk music with all contemporary genres. I mean, jazz, pop music, blues music, stuff like that. You can just listen to them and you will understand what I'm saying. You can take the look on them playing on KXP or NPR Tiny Desk or maybe all of the biggest video shows from all around the world. They've been everywhere, really. It's the first Ukrainian band played on Glastonbury Festival, the first Ukrainian band played on Banaro Festival, and almost every other big festival you might know. Next slide, please. Stone Jesus. It's the most famous Ukrainian metal band, kind of metal, because they don't like when we told them metal, but doesn't matter. They're really good, and their track I'm the Mountain has got more than 15 million views on YouTube, and it's the most popular stoner track all around the world right now. Excluding Queens of the Stone Age, but it's kind of pop music already. Okay, they gathered more than 8,000 people on Hellfest on France, one of the biggest alternative metal festivals all around the world. They're really huge, but kind of underground in Ukraine still. Next slide, please. DJ Nastya played almost every club, every area, every big electronic festival from all around the world. Also founded Strichka Festival in Kyiv. Also is quite popular here, and she's a blogger also. She's an activist. She makes a lot of stuff, and she's quite well known all around the world. And next slide, please. Also, you might know our winners of Eurovision, Jamala and Ruslana. Also, you might know Dach Daughters. Dach Daughters is from the same company as Dacha Bracha, but it's more theatrical. Also, Drutch is the underground band that hasn't played live yet anytime, but they're quite popular all around the world. Ginger metal band Sasha Bull playing folk, Onuka, really nice, check it out. Synoptic won the global battle of the bands, and sort of Gogol Bordello because Yevhen Hoods began playing music in Kyiv. Next slide, please. Ukrainian festivals. We've got a lot of festivals in Ukraine. They're very different. And I'll tell you about 2 biggest and maybe most interesting ones. Atlas Weekend is the biggest festival in Ukraine, kind of Ukrainian Siget or something like that. They gathered more than 500,000 people last year, next festival. It's kind of traditional pop, rock, electronic music festival, a lot of scenes, a lot of people, very fun. Brave Factory, unique festival made on the factory that was abandoned, and now they try to revitalize it. Truly unique experience. You should try it if you want, if you like to race and if you like electronic music. Next slide. Biggest shows. There are only 2 artists in Ukraine that can gather Olympic Stadium, the biggest area in Ukraine, more than 80,000 people gathering. It's Monatic, biggest Ukrainian pop star at the moment, and also, next slide, Okeanelzi, Sviatoslav Vakarchuk, who is also a politician right now. Next slide. The biggest shows from all around the world gathered Olympic Stadium, some 80,000 people more, were Depeche Mode, very popular in Ukraine, Madonna, popular too, Red Hot Chili Peppers, twice in Ukraine, Muse, 3 or 4 times in Ukraine. Next slide. Also, big shows appeared with these bands: 21 Pilots in Palat Sport, 2 Chemical Brothers on Atlas Weekend, Falls, Hertz, LGA, Antwoord, Moderat, David August, Nicholas Jar, Darkside, etc., etc., etc. All the bands you can see on the second stage of the almost all biggest festival, and also sometimes on the main stages. And also, I guess, how much time I left, okay. Some interesting facts about Ukraine. We also got, next slide. First of all, Ukraine is quite popular all around the world right now because of its film production scene. Almost every big band in the world in the last 10 years came here to shoot their video, including Falls, Miley Cyrus, 21 Pilots, Mumford & Sons, Tame Impala, and more and more and more and more. It's really not so expensive as in America, but the quality is the same. So that's why they come here to shoot here video. Also, you might know Ukraine by the Carol of the Bells, the Christmas song. It was originally written by Ukrainian composer Mykola Lysenko. One more fact I forgot to include here is that Ukrainian musicians write and release more than 300 albums a year, and more than 500 of videos, and more than 500 of singles every year. I guess it's not that big for the country, counting more than 40 million people, but as the emerging market in a musical case, I guess it's pretty fine. And the next slide is about me. Yes, Alex Bondrenko, Lerum.com.ua. So if you want to know Ukraine, you need to listen to the bands I wrote down, especially Daha Bracha, it's really unique. You can come to Kiev, you can come to Brave Factory Festival, you can come to Lviv on Zahid Fest Festival, you can come to Lviv to watch it down. It's really pretty European city, pretty European town. And I guess, in my personal opinion, that Ukrainian is one of the biggest emerging markets in this area, and I guess in the world right now, because we've got a lot of talents that need money and that need their audience. And when they get it, I guess it will be quite huge. Thanks a lot. I'm Alex Bondarenko. You can write me down on this email. And now I want to introduce the second panel, one of the prominent guys from Ukraine telling about our country. It will be Grigory Fatyanov. It will be Ivan Tolechuk, it will be Katrina Malyukova, Regina Fish, Sergei Malevsky by Zoom, and also Valeria Perkova. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Alex, for your introduction. And now we're going to hear from Sergi.
Yep.
Yes.
Do you hear me? Everything's fine?
Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
We do.
Great. Hello, everyone, and thanks for having me. Hope you and your families are safe in that dark time. My name is Sergi. I'm the CEO and the founder of the HD Concert Agency. We're in the past life, we were doing about 50, 60 shows per year with a different capacity from 1,000 to 10,000. I was involved in the few shows that were mentioned by Alex in the previous panel, trying to develop Ukraine market on the map of the concert live industry since 2014.
Okay, thank you, Sergi. Now we move on to Grigory Fatyanov, the label representative of House of Culture and Masterskaya.
Hi, hello, my name is Grigory. Nice to meet you all. So, at the moment, our label, if we're talking about recording business and about digital sales and streaming, in the middle of spring, when situation was started, we recorded and declined the trend that shutdown was in our region in the digital sales and streaming down about 15-20%. So in our artists who scheduled to perform to various festivals, various showcases, and other performance in the club suffered most due to this situation. So, and unfortunately, this situation not give us opportunity to retour, and many of our artists and labels as well a little bit hard. And I hope maybe in next few months situation will be more sustainable and we see that something changes. But now we adapt to this situation.
Okay, thank you, Grigory. Now we're going to hear from Ivan Tolechuk, who created a music startup that enables remote music collaboration.
Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Ivan. We co-founded Pybox after a lot of collaboration with bandmates. Even we collaborate in different city areas in Kiev, and it was Spain to doing work using Gmail or Dropbox. So currently we offering and supporting a lot of musicians, offering discounts during this because of this problem that we have now. So if someone is getting inside our system and ask for support, we can give free for example, educational companies and so on. And yeah, I'm happy to discuss ability, like how can musicians now using remote technologies, using remote networks and the structure of work as a startup doing now, lean startups doing now, how they can help themselves to survive and grow during this and use the situation like a bonus for themselves, not like a negative effect.
Thank you, Ivan. Now we move on to Valeria Perkova, who works for an online radio station, Aristocrats, and also manages an independent award show in Ukraine.
Yeah, thank you. Hello there. So good, delighted to participate. Yeah, I'm running, as we used to think, first independent musical award in Ukraine, a young one, a prize, and also I'm running the reduction of content makers or digital media, Aristocrats FM. Aristocrats, it's not because we are arrogant or something, we are self-ironic. I'm also interested in discussion of all those future remote networking possibilities for Ukrainian artists. And, you know, it's a great opportunity to see colleagues in faces. That's something precious that nowadays we do not usually have. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Valeria. Finally, Katarina Malyukova, who is a tour and artist manager.
Hello, everyone. My name is Katerina, and I'm working as a concert manager for Ivan Dorn and Kalush, who are Ukrainian artists and Ukrainian bands. Ivan Dorn is like really popular in CIS, and right now we are trying to go abroad, and we do tours in Europe, and we represent ourselves on different showcase festivals. And that's I do booking as well for Master Sky label and for Master Sky Space. We do showcases, like small showcases for our artists who are represented by Master Sky label, and we also do bookings for different big events in Kiev in Ukraine. For example, Atlas. We did 3 years in a row for Atlas weekend. We did a stage on the Atlas weekend for our artists, and we were bringing as well foreign acts as band Her, Antoch MC, who is from Russia. He was like previously, and we also were working with Warhola, who is a Belgian singer. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Katerina. I would like to get back to Sergi, because you organize a concert agency. What would you say is the state of the live music industry in Ukraine right now? And were there any new developments?
I'd say I was making shows in a previous life, but for now, the situation in Ukraine is quite similar with the rest of the world. The show is not forbidden at all. They are allowed with restrictions, but you know, it's like we can do a show on the paper because with the restrictions, the math is not working. So we have few shows during this period, during this quarantine period, but it was not a business. It was just a survival. It helped also to develop the Ukrainian artists because they don't need to travel; they're local. The demand on the local product is growing, and the people are starving. But I cannot say that we have a lot of shows in our region right now.
Yeah, thank you. Katarina, you manage two artists, and they're in very different stages of their career. One is already very established, Ivan Dorn, and then Kalush is still up and coming. How did these artists in different stages of their career deal with the current situation when it comes to development?
Actually, because of the quarantine and COVID-19, this year Kalush band suffered really big because this is the young band and they are just developing. And in the spring period, we were trying to go just to go to the festivals and to the concerts, and we were banned. And that's the really problem, because for now market demanding only well established bands, and the young bands who are not known very well, let's say they are not that demanded for the concerts because of the restrictions and the limitations, and the promoters, they do not want to risk. They do not want to have this risk. They need to have full show for the top of the restrictions, let's say. Yes, as for the big artist as Ivan Dorn, this is really good thing for him, because this year he decided to have the creative vacation, and he is trying to get relaxed and record some albums and some songs, and like to have some new things influence him and his career. So for him, this is the good period to do the restart and to do the new things, to record the material and all that stuff. We had several events, more like not public events, but more like corporate events, and that's it. Let's say this is the not right time to do the concerts, because this is the risk for our audience. This is the risk for our business, because in this situation, whenever you do the concert with the restrictions, you're getting on the margin, whether you gonna sell the tickets and you're gonna earn something, or you will go to the minus. So you won't earn anything and just pay the debts. That's the issue for the concert thing right now.
Yeah, thank you so much. Also, when it comes to labels, Grigori, did you implement any new strategies or ways to kind of alleviate some of the issues that you're seeing now?
Sorry, I forgot to represent the House of Culture Masterskaya in the beginning, and we working like a label, we working like music publishing, we working like a creative hub, because we have a space in the Kyiv city center, and we help artists to working in the studio and blah blah blah, and we faced off with a lot of problems in different part of the music of artists or record labels. For example, if we talk about record labels, as I said earlier, we faced off with the problem and downgrade from the streaming services. Approximately, we dropped down more than 15-12%. Of course, we have a problem with our artists who don't have gigs during this time. And right now, we start to find any solution that help artists to survive. And for example, if we talk about what we do right now, what our strategy for the next few months, we are focused to help artists to grow with us, and we try to find the partners who can help grow for us and for our artists. And we run several projects. One of them was a project is like a free like a mini serial, includes 3 videos about the Kyiv-based electronic music electronic music producers, and also we organize with under support of one of our partner online streams from the bedrooms of the artist, and it helps to collect some money and to the artist, of course, first of all. And for the next few months, we helping to artists developing new material, and we give them all that they need. Is like music studios, if they need this, it's like an instrument or something. And like Katerina said a few minutes ago, I think this is the best time for artists to start making music and focus on this part of the career.
Yeah, thank you so much. I have another question when it comes to when you're looking for collaboration internationally, which markets do you tend to look for and which markets are most accessible for you?
At the moment, if we talk about market, I think right now there's the most important market for us is Ukraine, and I think the next year we will be focusing on these countries. But anyway, we find like in the networkings or any possibilities to mm, have established connection with our partners and our friends outside of the Ukraine. It's like a Polish, like Netherlands, like in Germany, and try to find any solution to work together. But right now it's possible work together in direction of like music publishing, digitals, or something that helps to collect money outside of the Ukraine without any performance outside of the Ukraine. I think this right now is more important to us. It's work with publishing company who can help, who can bring our music to any catalogs and push this music in like a Netflix show or something, and sometimes it helps. But anyway, we're looking to the networking and we are looking to the developing career of our artists in Ukraine right now and I think the next year.
Thank you, Grigori. Ivan, since you provide a remote collaboration platform, did you see a rise in its usage, and also what are the ideal workflows to use it for music companies?
Yeah, it was some spike when it was lockdown. So we got higher growth, like two times growth, but actually we are cutting this growth for our revenues because we are giving discounts, giving a lot of free, as I said, free packs to support the industry this time, not to earn on this greedy, but to support musicians, because we understand how it's hard to pay and how many people is forced to go to lockdown and companies. So we supported this way. And we saw a lot of projects coming in, which is helping to monetize artists in more ways than just like Patreon, for example, which is everyone knows Patreon, but also it's a lot of thing that artists to fan like direct subscription that can help monetize even super small band. For example, I don't know, band which is loved by 1,000 users but super targeted, and they can pay $5 and it will be $5K per month for musicians to work more. So for me, what I saw new in the monetization models, artists need to work like subscription business. They need to offer some unique content or some live content, or maybe even creating music with these fans together. They are singing, you are doing something. It's really engaging them. It's unique content, and it's like 1,000 people that can be in the streaming, 2,000 maybe people, and monetize directly. Like it was like sales, like we're doing sales for subscription accounts. The same, if I love person, I will subscribe. But Patreon is super simple, too simple. For music, need to be something new. So we have even one guy who is making this in Germany, and I will have call with him this Friday, and maybe I will offer guys something that he's doing in pilot version. Because we need to find new ways to get money to musicians. It's one way. Maybe we have another question. I have also another options. What we're working with. We are working with businesses which is buying music. So also another option, for example.
Yeah, and who are the most regular users of your service?
Most regular, it's anyone. It's mostly the pain for individuals is music engineers, mixing engineers, because they are one person who is working with 3 bands, and it's a lot of chaos in his communication in Gmail, for example. And second, heavy user is companies that have like 50 composers, 100 composers. For example, production music libraries, they are super hard using Pybit because they need to collaborate online, and they need to produce 100 tracks per week. So it's a lot of work. That's why or it's big team or person with a big connections network, the customers network also.
Okay, thank you, Ivan. Valeria, I would like to ask you if you saw any changes in terms of radio, maybe airplay increased, or any new developments in the radio in Ukraine.
Well, I must say I'm not, I'm not representing some classical radio, not FM radio. We are kind of multi-platform digital media. We are producing audio and video content and sometimes textual. I must say that it was the most challenging times for the digital media Aristocrats FM, despite we were created at the times of Maidan and we are going through the war with Russia these years. But we had to shift the model of monetization and under circumstances of frozen markets, we tried to focus not on B2B but on B2C model of monetization. So we are dealing with our audience. We're using Patreon. We created Patreon through this period, and we asked our audience what they really want to have from us this difficult period. When you are going under circumstances of the squeezing of production costs, you need to find something really interesting to your audience, obviously. And they told us they want to have fun, they want to stay on optimistic wave. And we thought, okay, we're gonna do just only one piece of content, and it's gonna be online parties. And we followed all the rules of quarantine, of course, but still we were trying to do new piece of content for us, the online parties, with the help of our audience through the Patreon. The most common question to me these months is whether it's true that the consumption of the audio content are really growing. I should say I do not see the big difference in numerals, in analytics this month. We face some kind of a growth, but it's kind of, 20% more. And we now face the truth that in this, globalized world in which Spotify are here in Ukraine finally. All this situation with the streaming platforms are not playing into hand to local medias. That is why we're trying to find some new projects and models of monetization and dealing now more with the Independent Music Award, which I believe needed locally.
Okay, thank you, Valeria. A question is also, since 2016, there are language quotas in the Ukrainian radio. 35% of all Ukrainian radio has to be in Ukrainian language. How would you, any of you, assess this? Is it a positive way to foster the Ukrainian newcomers?
It's not for the first time we're dealing with this case. It's in my experience, the third wave of playing the quotation. And my personal meaning, it's absolutely good. It's a supportive hand to Ukrainian musical content, and it's a challenging way to the professional groups to deal not only with Russian, but also with Ukraine, English, French, and so on and so forth languages. So it's absolutely positive, to my humble opinion.
Okay, thank you. There's also very many award shows in Ukraine. What would you say is the impact of an award show for an Ukrainian artist?
Well, it's my favorite question for almost 5 years. You know, we've been looking for that perfect model in which our award won't be just a showcase. You know, when we present new music, when we support new musicians, when we create the stage of performative, thing for young musicians, but also we want to have that real practical impact on the bios of Ukrainian musicians. And what should I say? My research shows that the first thing which works is rewarding and recognition. Recognition is something that is extremely needed to Ukrainian musicians because let me tell you one short story. When we, for the first time, gave the statuette of a prize for the first time, extremely young award, we're giving the statuette to Daha Braha. Alex mentioned them at the presentation, and it was slide number 1. So they are known worldwide in every country, Latin America, whatever, Japan, Malaysia, whatever. But when we're giving them the statuette and the recognition, they say something shocking to me. They say it's the first award we're getting in our native country. So the idea is we're doing great things. Colleagues and musicians, we are trying to go fast, but there should be some line when we decide who are working good and who need to be, some way, somehow put a stress on that, particular group or musician, because it's hard to do music in Ukraine, obviously. It's a fact. When you're finding the resource to do a record, to play all those bills, and you got those records, and no one listens to it, it's something stressful for creative mind. It's like the end of everything. That is why we want to play that supportive role for young musicians and give them at last recognition. Sorry, I'm talking long.
Thank you so much, Valeria. I would like to also, this panel is also important in order to foster cross-national cooperation between Austria and Ukraine. Maybe Katarina, if you would like to start, what are ways maybe that you would like to see in order to foster that collaboration and cooperation?
Okay. As for me, actually, we haven't any connections with Austria yet for now, for our bands and for our musicians. But as for me, the first thing we need to do is to collaborate for the musicians to do the featurings and to do the collaborate. There is some platforms who can help these musicians to do the collaborations, and that's what actually we are striving to do for now. As for Kalush, as an example, yes, so we did the featuring on the existing track. We did the featuring with Polish rappers who are Gets, and we see the influence of these collaborations on the streaming services. So we see the really high numbers, like increase in the numbers of listeners and on the listenings, which influences this cross collaboration. Yes, and for the musicians, I think that the first step which we can do right now in this COVID situation, so we can start finding the bands who are really nice sounding for our artists, and to do the collaborations, because for now there is a lot of time when we can do the music. This type of experience we can share our audiences and share our musics. The next step is actually showcase festivals. Yes, and I'm really excited visiting showcase festivals because all our markets, they are quite closed. Yes, because most of the performers who are performing in Ukraine, they are Ukrainian or Russian language. But we can share the music, and the same for Austria. Most of bands who are in Austria, they speak Austrian and German language, yes, dialect. Maybe we can do this featuring and to share even the music and our languages. This is really nice. And showcase festivals, and as a label and as a booking, me as a booking manager as well, whenever I visit showcase festivals, I'm really excited to see the new bands, and whenever I feel these goosebumps on my skin, I'm trying to connect with the artist and to book him to our festivals and to our shows, which we're doing for the young music. And that was the case. We were bringing band He from France, who is now Victor Solf as a solo career, and we were bringing Varhola, who is actually, this is the singer who is a keyboards player for extremely huge Belgian Belgium band called Bazard, and they're singing in Flemish, and they are not internationally known, but on their local language they are like really huge and collecting stadiums. And this is the way of collaboration I think should work between the countries, starting from music experts and sharing the music and like our professional experience that it's.
Okay, thank you so much. Grigori, since you have a label, is there anything you would like to add when it comes to collaboration?
Yes, for sure. We already collaborate with Austria because one of our artists called Band O already performed last year on the Waves Vienna, and right now we're sitting here on this panel and we're already in touch and we're already ready for any collaboration. But if we talk about label, I think the most important thing we can provide to the artists, for example, from the Austrian artists, we can represent them here in the Ukraine because we have a great platform called Masterskaya, and this is a small venue where artists can perform. And for example, if sometimes we're working with some countries and some institutions, call it like a British Council or like Ukrainian Institute, who can help to collaborate together between countries, and I'm sure that we can find any kind of things that helps young Austrian artists and young Ukrainian artists collaborate together. And if we talk about label, we can talk about representation in digital. For example, we can talk about the music compilation that can collect some of young artists from Austria, and can collect some of young artists from the Ukraine, and we can push them in our territory and support them. And of course, our doors always open for any young artists. And if someone right now who watching this stream want to send demo to our label, it's easy. Please send an email to digital mastersky.space, and we always listen to stuff. So I think this is one of the most important things that we can do in the first time, and after that we can talk about any gigs or something collaboration in this field. Anyway, we are always welcome.
Okay, thank you so much, Grigori. I want to ask everyone here if there's any questions so far to any of the panelists. Guess not yet. Okay. I want to come back to Sergey one more time because you are in Lviv right now. Is that correct?
Not exactly. I'm in California right now, so it's quite a little bit further than Lviv.
Okay. How would you assess Ukraine when it comes to Kiev and more remote, smaller cities, and the music scene there, and the ways for artists to really come up?
Thanks for the question. This is really important problem, I think, in Ukraine, because most of the market, I think 50% of the show are mostly focused in the capital, in Kiev. The rest of the part are spread all over the country. And 35-40% of them are based in a big city like Lviv, Odessa, Dnipro, or Kharkiv. We are doing the shows all over the Ukraine, and we are facing almost the same problems. The really pure infrastructure of the venue, but tech equipped venues, and so on and so on. So we need to develop the infrastructure in the regions, and I think it will increase the demand on the music, on the good shows, and it also develop the map for traveling for the acts, because when we are in negotiation with the bands, we cannot offer them more than 3 shows or maybe 5 shows in Ukraine. Of course, they prefer to have more, because it's really not really, but it's harder to get to Ukraine because of the border, because of the logistic, and so on and so on. And when they are in Ukraine, they would love to perform as much as possible, right? And pure infrastructure in the regions didn't help them to do that. So I think in a recent year it won't change, but I think in the future it will change, and I think our country and our market will be more attractive, even if even than we have right now.
Okay, thank you so much. If there's anything Alona still wants to say, otherwise, I think we can resume this panel if there's no questions from any of you. All right. Okay, then thank you so much for taking the time and for this wonderful setup. I really love how you organized everything, and for your ideas on how to find new ways to foster the collaboration between Austria and Ukraine.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.